What's going on, guys? John Elder here from Codemy.com, and in this video, we're going to look at structs in Go. All right, guys, like I said, in this video, we're going to look at structs or structures in Golang. But before we get started, if you like this video, want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com, where I have dozens of courses with thousands of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off membership to all my courses, videos, and books for a one-time fee, which is insanely cheap. Okay, like I said, in this video, we're gonna look at structs or structures in Golang. So let's head over to our code. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor and the Git Bash terminal as always. And as always, you can find a link to the code in the pinned comment section below, as well as a link to the playlist with all the other Golang videos in this series. So check that out if you haven't so far. So structs, what is a struct? Short for structure. What exactly is it? Well, it's sort of like a class, but it's not, because Golang doesn't have classes. It's kind of like a class without the inheritance, if you know what that means. It's sort of like an array, but it's not. So think about an array. It's basically a list of things, but everything in Golang arrays are the same data type. So if you create an array of names, everything in there has to be a string. You can't have some strings and some integers and some booleans and all different things. And that's sort of different than a lot of programming languages like Python or Ruby, where you can throw anything you want into an array. You can have strings, you can have integers, you can have booleans, you can have other arrays, you can have anything you want in there. Not so much in Golang. So a struct, I'm just going to call them structure because struct sounds stupid. So a structure in Golang basically allows you to create lists of things of different data types. So you can have strings, so you can have integers, whatever you want, you can throw in there. In that sense, they're like arrays, but they're very different. They look a lot more like classes. So it's a little difficult to describe. So let's just jump in and build one. So I've got a file called struct.go. It's our basic Go starter code that we've always got. And I've got this function main like we always have. Now, outside of that, I'm going to create a struct or structure. And we call the type keyword. And then we name this thing. Let's create a person. And structs are good for like creating records, almost like database records, right? Not quite, but sort of. See, it's a bunch of things that are sort of like other things all combined. It's a uniquely Go thing, I guess. So this is going to be a struct. And then inside of here, we define it. So our person is going to have a name, and that's going to be a string. Our person is going to have, let's say, an age, and that'll be an integer. See, we can have different types of data in our struct. Let's see, what else? Let's say our person's going to have a favorite color, and that's going to be a string. And then let's also give them a weight, and that's going to be an integer. So we've got this thing defined, and this is the sort of stuff we can put in our struct. So if we want to add something to a struct, there's a couple of different ways we can do that. Just like most things with Go, there's a couple of ways to do it. So let's just start out by defining a person. So we're going to call var, and then I'm going to call this one person1, right? Call it whatever you want. And what is this going to be? It's going to be a person struct, right? So we can say person there. Now we can just add things to this, person1. And we do that using dot notation. So person1 dot name, and then set it to whatever you want. So, John. We can go person1 dot age, and then 44. Notice no quotation marks because age is an integer. Okay. So then we can go person1 dot fave, and you can see my Sublime Text already knows to auto implement this. It's already figured it out. So that's cool. Favorite color, let's say, I don't know, blue. And then person1 dot weight, and let's say 185. So we've now defined a person that is a person struct, and we've got all the information. How do we pull this out? Well, like anything else, we can go fmt.println, and we could just call, person1. If we want to get fancy, we can put some quotation marks in here and say person1 colon that. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this and run it. Head over to a terminal in my C Go stuff directory, and let's run go run struct.go. And what we do, it just prints out. Notice there's curly brackets. It looks very much like sort of like a dictionary in Python. But there we go. So we can call obviously specific items out of here if we want. So let's go fmt.println, and we could say person1 name, for instance. And here we would just call person1 dot name, use our dot notation. So if we go ahead and save this, head back over here, run this guy again, you can see it prints out John. We can change these guys. We've defined them here, but we can change it if we want. So let's say change an item. So we could go person1 dot name and set that equal to now John Elder. And if we come up here and paste that in again, run it a second time here, third time, I guess. You see the first time it's John, we change it, then print it out again, it becomes John Elder. So very easy to change things once something's been defined. So I mentioned there was a couple of different ways to create these, and this is sort of like the first name. We can also use our shorthand, right? Remember, we've done lots of shorthand stuff, and it's always this weird colon equal to sign, right? So we could do that. So let's create a second one. Let's say shorthand person2, right? So let's just go person2 and then use our shorthand. And this is going to be a person. And here we can use curly brackets. And inside of here, we could just say whatever we want. So we could say name, and it's not equal to, it's colon, right? So let's add Sally. And all of these are separated by commas. Sally's age is 29. Sally's fave color is, I don't know, pink. And Sally's weight is 115, right? There we go. So again, we can fmt dot print this line and just print out, person2 in the same way we did before. Save this. Let's use our quotation marks to make this more explicit. So let's go person2 colon. Now if we save this, head back over here, run this again, we see Sally 29 pink. And again, same thing with Sally. We can use anything we want. We could do it like this, and we can put her name by using our dot notation. So person2 dot name, right? Even though we've created it this way, we can still use the same things we normally would. Run this guy one more time. And here we see Sally. So those are structs in Golang. Again, this has a very class type feel to it, right? This is very similar to creating a class in other programming languages. But again, there's no inheritance like other class things. So it's a little bit different. Go doesn't have classes, but we can sort of get around that a little bit using these structs, sort of. And that's all there is to it. So that's all for this video. If you liked, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off memberships. That's access to all my courses, over 50 courses, thousands of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 150,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.